Today's first video for you is firstly Oda Turbi is the spokesperson of Oromo Liberation Army OLA. He contacted me a few hours ago after I shared a new story about a statement from Oromia Prosperity Party. Oromia PP claimed that several dozen OLA fighters had surrendered in East Valaga zone of Oromia. What is Oda Turbi saying about OPP's claim? Secondly, we have a new story from Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia, where dozens of Gumuz have been killed in clashes between Amhara forces and Gumuz fighters. Thirdly, an Ethiopian politician who was one of the top leaders of an Amhara political party has gone on hunger strike. He's been in prison for the last 2 years. Why is he now on hunger strike? Lastly, Oromo Liberation Front, Dawood Ibsa's political party, said to be part of the alliance with Oromo Liberation Army, has released a statement. The statement is about ongoing military operation against Oromo Liberation Army. What is OLF saying? Firstly, viewers, a few hours ago in a video I shared Oromia Prosperity Party's claim that several dozen OLF fighters had surrendered in Nunukumba and Jima Ajo districts of East Valaga. Oromia PP shared some pictures of captured OLA fighters. After that, Oda Turbi, who is the spokesperson of Oromo Liberation Army, contacted me. He has rejected Oromia Prosperity Party's claim. He says they are not our fighters. So Oromia PP has one position. It says that several dozen OLF fighters have surrendered. OLF says that Oromia PP is lying. No OLF fighter has surrendered anywhere in Oromia. Secondly, viewers, we have a new story from BG, Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. 2 days ago, some government-backed news sources claimed that in Dangor Voreda of the Matakal zone of BG, more than 200 Gumuz fighters had surrendered to government forces. Now, what we are hearing from Dangor and two other Voredas is that reportedly around 100 Gumuz have been killed in clashes between forces, government forces, especially Amhara forces, and Gumuz fighters. Are these killed persons Gumuz fighters or they are ordinary civilians? Interestingly, Oromia region-backed news sources claim that the killed persons are Gumuz civilians. They have been killed at the hands of Amhara government forces, though it's not very likely that such a large number of civilians have been killed by Amhara forces for no reason. There was fighting in Dangor, in other places, between Gumuz fighters and Amhara forces. Amhara forces are in BG, viewers. No, there is no question about the presence of Amhara forces in BG. Yes, they are there. And BG government acknowledges their presence there. These clashes, which led to these casualties, happened in 3 Voredas of Benishangul Gumuz. Firstly, Dangor, where government says that more than 200 surrendered Gumuz fighters. Secondly, Bolan. Thirdly, Mandora. And most of the casualties are being reported in Bolan. you see that BG is extremely destabilized. Despite Ethiopian government's efforts to control the situation, despite the deployment of regional forces, Amhara forces, SNNPR, other forces, despite deployment of all these regional forces, situation is not under control. Gumuz fighters have been fighting there for years, and in the past they had some of their training camps in Sudan too. Sudan was accused of backing them. Now OLA has joined them. Oromo Liberation Army is operating in BG. So that is why we are seeing that government forces, regional, federal, they are finding it difficult to control the situation in BG. Thirdly, viewers, an Ethiopian politician who was one of the top leaders of an Amhara political party has gone on hunger strike. Who is he? His name is Bereket Simon. He was a top leader of Amhara National Democratic Movement, ANDM. Amhara National Democratic Movement, ANDM, was part of EPRDF alliance, the alliance led by TPLF, which ruled Ethiopia for around 2 decades, more than 2 decades. Bereket Simon was a close friend of Meles Zenawi, TPLF's leader. He served in different government positions during EPRDF era, and he worked as information minister as well. Then PM Abiy came to office in 2018. After that, in January 2019, Bereket Simon was arrested. He was charged with corruption, and in May 2020, he was sentenced to 6-year imprisonment. So he has just completed around 2 years of his imprisonment. He is in prison in Bahirdar, Amhara region. But he has requested that he should be shifted to Addis Ababa. His request is under consideration, but it has not been accepted so far. That is why he has gone on hunger strike. Reportedly, his condition is critical. He is still in Bahirdar. He hasn't been shifted to Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital. Lastly, viewers, Oromo Liberation Front, political party led by Daud Ibsa, has released a statement about ongoing military operation against Oromo Liberation Army. OLA split with OLF when OLF signed an agreement, peace agreement with the Ethiopian government. OLF turned into a political party, and OLA continued armed struggle against Ethiopian government. OLF says that this military campaign against Oromo Liberation Army is basically a campaign against Oromo civilians. OLF says that Oromo intellectuals, Oromo politicians, Oromo main figures have been targeted by Ethiopian government of PM Abiy. And this is a campaign against Oromia, civilians in Oromia. Secondly, OLA says that Oromos will have to stand in unison to fight this onslaught. Thirdly, it is urging the Oromo soldiers who are part of the forces that are conducting this operation, that they should defect. They should defy the orders of their seniors. They should not fight Oromo Liberation Army. OLF says that Eritrean forces are part of this operation too. Ethiopian National Defense Force, Federal Forces, Eritrean forces, regional forces from Afar, SNNPR, Amhara, Oromia. They are part of this operation. No mention of Sidama forces. There is mention of Somali forces as well. OLF is saying that these forces must not be part of this operation. Otherwise, it would be a historical blunder. It could lead to serious consequences for regional unity, for ethnic unity. Lastly, OLF wants action from international community, from African Union, European Union, US, that they should intervene, they should use their leverage to stop Ethiopian government from this operation. But OLF says that it will continue to fight for the people of Oromia. So, OLF is seen as OLA's political wing. Can OLF play any role in this operation? Main OLF leaders are still in prison, we know. And their workers are also in prison. And some of them have joined Oromo Liberation Army. So, in the field, in the battlefield, I think OLF workers are already part of Oromo Liberation Army because they've been under crackdown for months. Hundreds of them were arrested in recent months, especially in 2020, in 2019 especially. They were arrested in large number. So they are already part of Oromo Liberation Army. So you see now that OLF, OFC, two political parties, they have opposed the ongoing military operation against Oromo Liberation Army in Oromia. That will lead to public support for Oromo Liberation Army. The two political parties are supporting OLA or they are opposing the ongoing operation against OLA. If they are opposing the operation, it means that this statement of OLF and a previous statement of OFC, it will lead to increased support in public for Oromo Liberation Army. Thanks for watching.